Senator.
Hi, Senator. How are you?
Hi, are they starting?
Which one are you into?
Nice to see you.
Really? Thank you.
Thank you so much for your great work. Thank you so much.
Senator, how are you? Thank you so much for coming.
When are they starting?
We're gonna start soon. I'm gonna tell you guys right now.
I go.
You're gonna go come and right after. We're gonna start in about 5 minutes. Okay. Joanne, shoot her
Quick picture with the senator.
Thanks for coming. I know you are. Of course I know who you are. Okay, great. So we're gonna start like 5 minutes. Because we're trying to get some performance out of the people who hear about here. And I think what we're doing is about 5 minutes before you come, someone's gonna grab you and then to speak with you and get one of the base areas.
Hey, Joanne, where's the program? Do I get to speak?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Joanne and Howard, can I just talk to you for a second?
Howard.
Howard.
Howard, sorry, can I just touch base for a second? So we're gonna let's have like 3 liners, like 3 speakers lined up in a line. Let's have them each like this is the weight right here. And then so right now.
There might be
No, I'm sweating. Should I ask you to spread out? We're going to get started in just about a minute. If we could have people kind of spread out just a little bit, the pandemic is still real. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm gonna have Ahmed be your runner. Okay. And then John, I'm just gonna please show your member.
Okay, good.
We're waiting for her because she's going next to her.
Oh, yeah, I saw.
And what's gonna happen is I think we're gonna start them in a few minutes, so if her order is gonna get locked down.
We'll keep you posted.
So let me get Ahmed. Hold on.
You should get started right now. Yeah.
They want to start getting them.
Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. Show me what community looks like.
I'm not sure we'll be able to. Not.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. Then.
Show me what the people look like.
Getting started? Great. Thank you, Joe.
I will let you stand.
Show me what
So
the
you'll
people
be
look
roughly
like.
around
Grace, Renee.
right after we introduce. Right after.
Okay, good. Good to see you.
Councilmember, how are you?
Yes, I'm around. Okay, thank you. And now we see each other on Zoom.
Grace, I'm introducing you.
All right, everyone. I am going to have your attention. We're here today, and let's show them our presence. No hate, no fear. Asians are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Asians are welcome here.
No hate, no fear. Asians are welcome here.
Show me what the people looks like. Show me what community looks like. Show me what unity looks like. When I say what do we want, you're going to say safety. What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? When do we want it? What do we want? What do we want? When do we want it? Show me what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. I know we can be louder. Show me what community looks like. Show me what unity looks like. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it?
Now, thank you so much, Winnie. And thank you so much to all of you for being here and rallying with us today. Can you all hear me? In the back? Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm Ravi Reddy, the Associate Director for Advocacy and Policy here at the Asian American Federation. We represent the collective voice of more than 70 nonprofits serving more than 1.3 million Asian New Yorkers. We're here because in the loudest, brightest city, the most diverse city in the world,
Yes.
we demand visibility. Every sixth New Yorker is Asian. 7 in 10 of us came from another country, choosing to lay down roots here, choosing to call New York our home. We are grocers and nurses and taxi drivers and teachers and everything in between. We are cornerstones of our community. And let's be clear about one thing. In these unprecedented times, if we were to call our city the city that never sleeps, it was our community, along with other marginalized communities, who kept it awake. But once again, our community's nightmares are playing out on our streets. Our hate crime reporting tool and others reported more than one bias incident or hate crime a day this past year. Nearly 500 reports. And we know that not everyone reports. Ranging from an 89-year-old grandmother who was lit on fire last year in Brooklyn to the man who was stabbed just around the corner from here 2 nights ago, who is still fighting for his life. So once again, as we have said in every venue over the past year, we are here to say more must be done to keep Asian Americans safe in our city. Right? There we go. Today, we'll hear directly from people like Noel Quintana, whose story makes real the tragedy and the accompanying resiliency of our community members. We will also be hearing from elected officials, community leaders, and allies who have shown up to stand with us today. But first up, I'd like to introduce Joanne Yu, the Executive Director of my organization, the Asian American Federation.
Hi everyone! Give yourselves a round of applause for showing up on this cold day. Thank you for choosing to spend your Saturday with us. It's so great to see you, and I'm gonna try to do this without crying because it's been really, really hard for all of us. I'm gonna tell a special greeting to my Asian American community. I'm gonna tell you how much I've missed you. It's so great to see you guys here.
And all of the faces that I haven't seen for over a year, I see you on the screen through Zoom, and that's not good enough. I miss seeing you on the subway. I miss getting together. I miss seeing your children. I miss seeing you on the street, and I miss knowing that you're okay. It's really been terrifying for our community because we are hit by the pandemic of this horrible pandemic, and also the racism that our community is encountering. It's been unbearable, and it's been really tough knowing that I can't even keep myself and my staff safe, let alone the Asian American communities, the uncles and the aunties and our grandmas, because what is happening is not right. Thank you for coming, and I look around and see let me stop being a crybaby. I look around to see so many friends here, along with our elected officials, who have just been so great with us and offering the support and standing with us. I also see some friends that I've known forever who keep me sane. I see so many of my friends who are, I can't mention you because of nonprofit laws, but all of you who are running for office, thank you all for coming here. I know you should be campaigning, but you are here to support our community and to stand against hate. I see my big brother, I see Sharon, I see all of the folks that, I see my friend Tom. I know that my best friend is here somewhere. I haven't seen her in a year. She lives in New York City. We celebrate our birthdays together, and we just haven't had, we're afraid to meet up. I mean, this is the fear that we are dealing with. Right now, we're fighting a global pandemic. Asian American communities we're also fighting racism. Since last January, we've been seeing an increase in attacks against Asian New Yorkers. We're getting spat on, we're getting punched, shoved, slashed, and stabbed. And the sad part is that these scary acts are happening to some of the most vulnerable folks in our community. Right now, Asian Americans are scared, we are outraged, and we are devastated. We are afraid to leave our homes, and we are afraid to go to work, we are afraid to go out for a walk. But the biggest fear of all is that we look at our fellow New Yorkers and wonder if they'll be the ones to harm us. We cannot let these harmful incidents stoke distrust and suspicion. For my Asian American family, stay strong, speak out, and stand together. And for the rest of my fellow New Yorkers, thank you all for coming to stand with us in solidarity. Thank you all for coming to speak with one loud and powerful voice that we reject these hateful attacks on our community and the racist views that victimize us. As the vaccine tap has been turned on in DC and we are starting to see the light at the end of the COVID tunnel, we need to figure out how to dig ourselves out of this devastation. What we prioritize in our post-COVID brave new world is up to us. I ask you to prioritize each other. I ask you to prioritize community. Let's protect each other and let's care for each other. Let's look out for one another. Let's see the best of humanity during the height of COVID, with neighbors checking on neighbors, mutual aid societies that formed to make sure nobody went hungry and everybody felt okay. We have to continue to do that for each other, not just during the pandemic, but every single day. These are the values that we hold as New Yorkers and as people, and we all share them, so we really need to put this in practice. Thank you all for coming out on this rainy day. Thank God it stopped, for your solidarity. I want to thank a few people. I want to thank my staff. Every time I say, oh my gosh, we're going to do a rally, in the midst of a pandemic, they said, okay, let's do it, right? So here we are. They made this happen in a week, and thank you so much. They never say no when it comes to standing up for our community, even as they're dealing with their own pain and their own fears. I want to thank the New York Immigration Coalition. When we do these rallies, I call Murad and say, you need to show up for me, you need to give me your volunteers, and you need to hook it all up. And so they've been wonderful, and I really appreciate all the support, Murad. I want to thank all the volunteers who are here. And the one thing I want to ask all of you, so much of what is happening in public. And people are, I know it's shocking to see a violent act happening in front of you. I ask all of you to be an upstander, to be good to the person next to you, understand what is happening, and to say, are you okay? What can I do for you? Please be an upstander and stand up for your fellow New Yorkers. My final ask for all of you, as we leave this rally, we're going to hear some great elected officials who stand with us. You're going to be inspired. But the one thing I ask all of you as we leave this rally and you go home, please stop by a small business and support them. Please do something for them because they are suffering. Our community, small business, have been suffering since January. It's been over a year. Give them some love, show them some love, and let's keep our small businesses open. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you. You guys, it is my pleasure now to introduce Congresswoman Grace Meng. And I can read you all of the great accomplishments, but I want to tell you the personal stories of me and Grace. Like, I know she's in DC really doing all the hard lift, but she's always really mindful of getting the community story right, making sure that the community voices are heard, making sure the needs of our community is front and center at all times. And so it is with my distinct pleasure, one of my sheroes, one of my sisters, fighting the good fight in DC and here as well, Grace Meng. Thank you. Congresswoman, thank you.
Thank you to Joanne Yu, to the Asian American Federation, to your whole team and volunteers for making it possible for us to gather here today. Thank you to all my colleagues in government, and I especially want to say thank you to some of our city and statewide elected officials who have been very vocal, public, and early in showing their support for the Asian American community in New York. We have our Attorney General, Tish James, who has been publicly with and behind us since day one. We have our amazing Senator Schumer, not just our senator, the majority leader of our entire United States Senate. And we will also hear later from our current mayor, Bill de Blasio, who has also been very public in standing with us on this issue since day one. I also want to thank so many of our ally groups who are here today, from New York Immigration Coalition, Hispanic Federation, and so many others. If you look around the place today, it's not just Asian American faces. It is a group, a collage of diverse voices of the city of New York. And it is many of the same faces that showed up for people who were murdered, like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, over the last few months across the city and across the country. We need to make sure that we are not fighting racism with more racism, that we are fighting racism with solidarity, that we are not ever pitting one group against the other. It is everyone against racism, and while it's sad and unfortunate that we have to gather here today, we have an opportune moment to have really difficult conversations with people, not just about racism towards our community, but sometimes even racism within our own communities. The APA community has been fighting two viruses over the last year. One of the pandemic that people all over the world are fighting, but one even before the pandemic hit us here in New York, the pandemic and the virus of discrimination and bigotry. We saw small businesses, we saw community members and leaders suffer from before we got coronavirus because people thought that they brought the virus over. We saw leaders of our own country and the former president and my Republican colleagues in Congress use words proudly like Kung Flu and Chinese virus. They empowered what is happening today. They couldn't even vote for my simple, symbolic resolution that passed the House just to say that Congress stood up against discrimination towards Asians. They couldn't vote for that. 164 of them voted against that. It's now been a year later. We have a president in Joe Biden and a vice president in Kamala Harris who not only stand with us, but Joe Biden actually signed legislation last month to say that he stands against discrimination towards Asians, and he's taking more substantive moves to help us combat it. We are working with the administration and Senator Schumer to push legislation like the COVID Hate Crimes Act. We need contact people in our government who are helping us handle what is going on, to keep track and to give us more resources to fight against the hate. Too many people, like Joanne said, are living in fear right now. We know people who are literally scared to leave their homes, not just because of the virus, but because of this bigotry. The United States of America has a long history and a legal history of discriminating and excluding Asian Americans that stems from fear, ignorant fear. Whether it was the Chinese Exclusion Act that was passed by Congress, or our own federal government who locked up Japanese Americans and were incarcerated in camps, whether it was the death and murder of Vincent Chin, all the hate crimes that have continued since 9/11, and the Muslim ban that was literally signed into law by the former president. We've been taught our entire life to just fit in, just be quiet, don't speak up, be invisible. If you are invisible enough, you will be seen as American. But we are here to say that we will be invisible no more. We will speak up. We thank everyone for speaking up and standing with us. And we say that we are American too.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman May. And yeah, absolutely, good trouble. Making people feel safe really is a community building issue, and it's really about how our community and all of our communities interact together and advocate together. Now, I'd like to introduce Father Julian Hagudia, the Executive Director of the Migrant Center at the Church of St. Francis of Assisi. Father Julian has been leading immigration legal services and programs for the Filipino and Korean communities. Father Julian?
Good afternoon to you all. Buenas tardes a todos. When I say, who will keep us safe? Our answer is, we will keep us safe. Let me hear it from you. As a community united, along with leaders from all sectors and ethnicities, along with our government officials, we will keep ourselves safe. My friends, there's a myth out there, a myth that is perpetually perpetrated by those who attempt to diminish and silence the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. That myth is that we, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, are the model minority. This is a myth loaded with racial undertones, such as, we have it better than the rest of the minorities. We didn't have to work hard. We didn't have to suffer or struggle to make it here in this country. We are docile, not aggressive or assertive. It is a myth, and we are not buying it any longer. lie should not persist because it continues to disempower and diminish our community. The recent spate of attacks against our community bespeak this myth. In the minds of the perpetrators, they can push us around and we will not fight back. They can insult us and we will not speak a word of protest. They can slap and slash our faces and we won't bleed. They can put their knees on our necks and we won't break. The attack on Noel Quintana is a prime example of how we are being perceived through the lens of this myth. Noel is a volunteer of the Migrant Center, a center that assists immigrants achieve their American dream. In addition, Noel's volunteer work at the Migrant Center, he works 2 jobs to survive the challenges of living in New York City. Challenges that many of us immigrants have to wrestle with each day. Enough with the senseless attacks. We are here to speak out and to protect our community. We are here to stand with all people, people of goodwill. We are here to call for justice, and we are here to call for an end of attacks. I call on our government officials to provide more resources for the safety of our community. But most of all, we owe it ourselves to be vigilant and to speak out, because who will keep us safe? My friends, let me introduce to you Noel Quintana. You will hear it from him, and here is a face of fear that is present in our Asian, American, and Pacific Islander community. Noel.
Good afternoon, thank you for coming, and my name is Noel Quintana. During that unfaithful day, February 3rd, Wednesday, I was about to go to work at around 8 o'clock in the morning. So I take the L train, and because the train is so full, so I stood on the door. So when the train stopped at Bedford, a man came and stood beside me. So after a few minutes, he kicked my bag, and when I look at him, I move away from him so that if my bag touches him or disturb him in any way, it's no longer that case. So a few more minutes, he kicked again my bag. And that's the time when I moved inside the train and told him what's wrong with you. And that was also the time where the train stopped on the next station and opened the door. And before he left, he moved forward toward me and slashed my face. I thought I was punched on the face, but when I saw the box cutter holding on his hand, and the reaction of other people in the train, I knew I was lost. And I called for help, but nobody came for help. There were a lot of New Yorkers there, and I never knew that nobody would help me in this kind of instance. I hope that there should be an awareness of people, ordinary people, especially riding the subway, on how to respond and help a victim like me. at least call 911 or make a video, because nobody took a video, and there's a lot of cell phones being used in the subway, and nobody even took a video on that scene. And if they took a video, at least the perpetrator would be identified easily. But I hope there should be an awareness on this. And we are all New Yorkers, and we should all look one another. And thank you for coming here, and I wish you safety on your here.
No, I just want to honor what you said. I want to honor your story. And I want to thank you for giving your time today. It takes a lot to recall something like that and share it with all of us. Can we give him another applause? Thank you so much. Your story made real what our community is going through. And in so many ways, your story has been a source of strength for many, including myself, just showing up here. Thank you. Noel's experience is a call to action for all of us, including our elected leaders. Noel's trauma must be acknowledged and backed with the power of their offices. That's why I'm thrilled to introduce our senior senator, Charles Schumer, who has demonstrated that part of the work is showing up and listening to people like Noel, and then acting with conviction. We were delighted that he attended our virtual legislative breakfast 2 days ago to speak on issues that matter to our community, and we're glad that he's here to share this space with us today. It's my sincere honor to introduce our next speaker, the new Senate Majority Leader, Charles Schumer.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to stand with you and fight the bigots. And I want to say to Noel, come up here. Noel, you showed much more courage than that son of a gun who slashed you by speaking here today and telling us what we have to do to stop the bigotry, stop the hate, stop all of it. And I want to say to Noel and all of you, bigotry against any of us is bigotry against all of us. We all know that unfortunately we have seen so much racism and discrimination in this country. And then, with the advent of a President, Trump, who practiced bigotry and let it out, it got even worse. We must redouble our fight. We must stand strong. We must stand together. New York, we love diversity. We know the more of us who are together from every different background and race and creed and color and orientation and gender, the stronger we are. We love immigrants. I look out my window in Brooklyn and see the Statue of Liberty. That is America, not the slasher who hurt you, not Donald Trump, and not all those bigoted, nasty people in the insurrectionists who tried to take over the Capitol. So I stand with you. Let us say together, rise up, rise up, rise up against Asian hate. Rise up, rise up, rise up against Asian hate. I stand with all of you, and always will. Thank you, everybody. It's coming soon.
Thank,
2 weeks, we passed the bill.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Senator Schumer. Thank you so much, Senator Schumer. Thank you for honoring the stories that were told here today. And next, I would like to introduce someone who's been a steadfast supporter of the Asian American community since her time as a council member and public advocate, and now as New York's Attorney General. From her days as council member, she has always been proactive in reaching out and standing in support with us. One of our earliest, one of our loudest champions, it is my honor to introduce New York Attorney General Letitia James.
No hate, no fear. Asians are here to stay. No hate, no fear. Asians are here to stay. No hate, no fear. Asians are here to stay. Listen, when I think of Noel, I think in the words of Dr. King. It is the good people who fail to stand up. It is the silence of good people who fail to stand up, who allow racism and hate to persist. And so all of us who are here today, all of us who believe in the goodness of one another, all of us who recognize that all of us bleed red, all of us who recognize that his scars will heal, but of the scars of hate, it's the scars of hate and the taint of hate and the pain of hate that we have got to cure. And so all of us must stand together with no space between us, shoulder to shoulder, brother to brother, sister to sister, blacks and whites and Asians and Latinos. All of us must say, no hate, no fear. The goodness of people must stand up together. So, we cannot, we must not allow those bigots and all of those who hate us because of the color of our skin, because of what we look like, because we believe in love. We will not allow them to thrive. We will not allow them to succeed. All of us must march in the streets and raise our voices in unison against those who believe in hate. We will not be separated. This is our country. This is the country of immigrants and immigrants who built this country. And now more than ever, we need to stand in solidarity against hatred and racism. We are here today because we've seen a despicable rise in hate crimes and attacks against the Asian American community. And we're here to say, no more, not now, not in our city, not in our state. To see an Asian woman violently shoved to the ground and had to be hospitalized with stitches. To see an Asian man, Noel, slashed across the face in the subway. And these are just few of the many attacks, because so many people are afraid to report the attacks. And I say to that community, come to my office and report those attacks. Come to my office and file a complaint. Come to my office and let me see you, let me hear you. Come to my office so that we can do something about it. Come to my office so that we can go after these individuals who hate us and shut them down. We cannot and we must not sit idly by and do absolutely nothing. Nothing. Doing absolutely nothing is something we will not tolerate, because any attack or act of hate against one of us is an attack against all of us. And so I join with Joanne and so many others saying we need not a volunteer patrol, we need a patrol which is staffed by police officers and individuals who are committed to addressing and stamping out hate. We need a unit, a bureau dedicated to this issue. Volunteers will not do. A full-time, dedicated educating individuals about how we are all inextricably tied to one another, and that we are all part of one human family, and that hate has no place in our country and in a civil society. And beyond that, we need all of you to stand. Stand together. Stand against hate. Speak up. Do something. Do not be a silent individual, someone who stands by and does absolutely nothing. They should have come to the aid of Noel. They should have taken pictures of that individual. They should have joined together and taken that individual down. That's what they should have done. And so I want all of you to know that the Office of Attorney General has a hate crimes task force. And I urge you to please, please, please report crimes of hate at 1-800-771-7755 or go onto my website and please, please file complaints. We will continue to hold dialogues with the Asian community. We will continue to bring all groups together as one. We will continue to address and combat these very issues. We will work with NYPD and state police. We will hold elected officials, including myself, accountable. It's important that all of us be accountable and that we stand up and we stand in one voice and address these acts of hate. To be clear, this pandemic does not give anyone an excuse to be a racist or attack or xenophobic or biased. No excuse, no excuse, no excuse. And I want individuals who are arrested to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We are all in this together, and we will not back down. And today, my friends, I stand with my friends in the Asian community because today I am Asian, and I dare anyone to come after me. When you come after a member of the Asian community, you come after me, and I stand with them today. Thank you.
Okay, folks, we're still in a pandemic. Please socially distance. I do not want this to be a super spreader event, okay? Please be mindful. There's hand sanitizers. Keep your masks on. Please be mindful of spacing. Tish, forever since day one in office, always been a friend, always been an ally, always somebody we can go to. Always, always. Thank you so much. She was the first elected official in New York State to speak up and support our community. Everybody, a round of applause for AJ. Okay, you guys, family, it is my honor to introduce the mayor. Everybody, he's here today to show solidarity with our community. We have shared commitments of keeping our community safe. We have a Herculean task ahead of us, and we need to take some important first steps together. That goes beyond City Hall, that goes beyond Asian American Federation, and we need to tackle them as a city, all of us together, this thing called racism. In the spirit of this rally, please be gracious and welcome our mayor, Mayor de Blasio. Thank you.
Thank you. Joanne, I want to thank you. Joanne, I want to thank Congressmember Grace Meng, everyone who has joined together to fight hatred. We will not accept hatred in New York City. Stop Asian hate. This is the message we have to get out, not just in New York City, but all over this country. Stop Asian hate. Stop it now. We saw a man killed in San Francisco, killed for walking down a street because of who he was, because this hatred has been built and fomented and led from Washington, D.C., from the White House of Donald Trump. That's what has been done to this country. People told to hate each other in a crisis where we need each other. And we need to love each other and support each other. We will not allow hatred in New York City, and that is not just a statement of good intention. Anyone who commits an act of hatred against the Asian American community will be found, will be arrested, will be prosecuted. That is what we need. We have to show people we mean business. We have to change how we educate this entire community. Because when you hear voices trying to blame Asian Americans for the crisis we're all in, that is wrong. It is unacceptable. And we will fight it. We will fight it in our schools with a curriculum that teaches respect for Asian Americans and all they've done to build this city and this country. We will do it every day in our words and our deeds. And everyone, this must end. And every community needs to stand with the Asian community right now. Because if Asian Americans are being attacked, every single one of us is vulnerable. This hate doesn't stop with one group, it spreads to every group. History has taught us that over and over again. So brothers and sisters, together we will stop Asian hate. Together we will stop Asian hate once and for all in this city and in this nation. Thank you. Keep fighting. God bless you all.
Lower the mic a little bit. Thank you so much, Mayor, for giving those remarks. This really is a community issue, and it's an all of us issue. So thank you again. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I think we're ready for some art. I think we're ready for some performance art, right? All right, let's put this to use. So now, Jamel Mims, also known as MC Thingbadong, is a bilingual rapper, an artist, and a revolutionary who has made an art of expressing our community's pain and our aspirations. So without further ado, Jamel Mims.
大家好，干嘛呢？干嘛呢是？大家好，干嘛呢？行，有，我是你好，春节快乐，元宵节快乐 ，OK， 新年快乐，我是 MC 听不懂，我是一个说唱歌手、多媒体艺术家，还有一个革命者。真的，我特别兴奋跟你在一起，现在特别兴奋。我跟你说呢，知道为什么吗？这是一辈子的一个机会，我们要团结起来了。我跟你说呢，法西斯现在已经到了美国了。听我说，法西斯倒了，是我们必须得负责任，为了面对这个情况，对吗？对不对？行。So what's up, y'all? My name is MC Tingbudong, aka Jam No Peanut, and I'm a bilingual hip-hop artist, multimedia artist, and revolutionary. And I am so excited to be here with you today. Make some noise right now. Look, it is so important that these communities are joining together precisely because this is a once-in-a-lifetime time for us to actually come together. Now, I said I was a revolutionary, and I'm about strategy, about how we can actually get free. Make some noise if you know we actually need not just to care for one person or one kind of person, but this is all of our struggle. This is soil woman that's one new. This is all of our struggle. Make some noise if you know that's the case. We started something together this summer, right, y'all? We started something together, where people began lifting their heads and people from all sections of society began to chant Black Lives Matter. And it became intolerable to see other people suffer in the same way. And when we see right now Asians being attacked, we need to stand up and come together in the face of that. Just like they did in the 60s with the Panthers and the Red Book, just like Du Bois and his missions to revolutionary China, just like a time when people were considering not just what different kinds of positions in the world they could be in, but what kind of a world they could create. This is an issue that affects us all. So I just wanted to open with that and really give a preface, because this moment is so historic to be here together with our two communities before we dive into the music. Is that all right? Xiang? Okay. 那这一首歌就是叫《应该不是这样子》。Can y'all say that with me? 应该不是这样子。Okay, right? Anybody know what that means? Y'all shout it out. Shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be this way. It ain't right.
right? So this is a song that's about, exactly. This is a song that's about it not having to be this way, but the opportunity that lies in us for us to come together. Okay, and if the sound guy's there, if you could hit play on my MacBook Pro. 大点声可以吗? Can you maybe turn it up a little bit? Sorry, my bad.
You really don't understand, do you? Hey man, don't you realize in order for us to make this thing work, man, we've got to get rid of the pimps and the pushers and the prostitutes, and it's done all over again clean.
Wait, hold up, wait, hold up. 修剪装了才快不能停着，我们把未来从你拿走了。Wait, hold up, wait. Hold up, time is moving too fast, let it slow up. Time we came for the word that you owe us. Hey, 小灯，哎，小灯，他们认为我们都是朋克，我们把世界从你拿走了。哎，小灯，哎，小灯， we've been going and going and going, ain't been the same since Florida and Arizona. Wondering, wondering, wondering. 为什么？为什么？为什么？为什么 ？In the age of apocalypse， 学着某如呢？我干什么？干什么 ？Dealing with two pandemics， 我们必须反对浪中必 do yo whatever we do， 我们只能继续反对成对比中不 yo we just keep it moving we。一直走在黑影，只能通过，感觉到走到迷路的时候，不知道在哪里发错。This ain't how it's supposed to go, ain't how it's supposed to go. Time to go hit the streets. Time to get out the door. Nowhere to go. Hospital beds on overload. Bodies piled up from coast to coast. Gone in a snap, no cap, Thanos. We done lost our patience. Soon past the 100K racing. We're reaching our limit. I got two pandemics in America. Racism still a contagion. In the age of apocalypse, they try to get it topping, but there ain't no stopping them. Armed up, Nazi storm, state capitol lobbies are the same. The economy, the black and brown bodies, man. Big Floyd said I can't breathe. I'm out there gunned down for jogging. Rihanna's killers walk free, so it's past the PPE. Time to hit the streets and got no other options. 到底应该不是这样。 到底应该不是这样，有力养这个病毒歧视，都是因为少数民族歧视。It ain't gotta be this way, so I gotta find my way. It's a whole new world that we're after. Borderless language and gender don't matter. 到底应该不是这样，到底应该不是这样。我们了解这个情况，这个病毒没有制度复杂。It ain't gotta be this way. So I gotta find my way. The fire that lit precincts in Minnesota inspired the world. Now it's time we take over. Wondering, wondering, wondering. 为什么？为什么？为什么？为什么 ？In the age of apocalypse， 学着某如呢？我干什么？干什么 ？Dealing with two pandemics。我们必须反对浪中 we do yo whatever we do。我们只能继续反对成为全部 yo we just we keep it moving we。一直走在黑影，只能通过，感觉到走到迷路的时候，不知道在哪里发错。This ain't how it's supposed to go, ain't how it's supposed to go, ain't how it's supposed to go, ain't how it's supposed to go. Say it with me, right? Go. Wait, hold up, wait. Time is moving too fast, let it slow up. Time we came for the word that you owe us. Wait, wait. 时间转了才快不能停着，我们把未来从你拿走了。Hey, hey, 'cause I know, oh, oh. 谢谢大家。So. Let's stay connected. You can find me at JamNoPeanut. Get connected with the movement for revolution at NYC Rev Club. And join the movement for revolution. And get connected with the movement to drive out fascism. The fascist president 朱红色的 Hitler 已经走了，已经出除了白宫。Orange Hitler is out of the White House. That's your fascism 还在, but fascism is still here. We gotta drive it out. So get connected.
I don't know about y'all, but I don't have those weather goosebumps. I got those inspiration goosebumps. What do you say? Racism is still a contagion? It absolutely is. All right, so now it's awfully hard to find words after that performance, but we got to keep going. But let's just show Jamal some love first. Thank you so much. All right, and now I want us to acknowledge the work that's being done in our communities. It's a sense of empowerment being cultivated by our member and partner organizations, like the New York Immigration Coalition. There we go. Murad Awada is a co-executive director of the New York Immigration Coalition, a critical ally in our work